Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads. And you know what? That's right. That's right. My main man, Reggie's back. What's going on, Reg?
So we're back, and so is the ridiculousness.
Absolutely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Reggie wasn't prepared for that. I don't tee him up for Reggie. I mean, during the podcast, but anything that comes out that's kind of random and ridiculous, it's shock mode for him. Shock mode.
Oh my God! You hit me with the Slim Shady. The Slim
Welcome
Shady.
back. Welcome back.
Guess who's back, huh? Oh man. Well, you know what? It's good to be back, man. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been on, and it's kind of like we went through COVID all over again. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to COVID and the people who lost loved ones during COVID, but COVID was a weird time, and things were slow, quiet, shut down. All the things that we recall about COVID. But yeah, man, we've been gone for a minute, and but we're back as the song alluded to.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah, it's been now Reggie and I've been in contact, as we always are, about all things burgundy and gold. But after the rough season and life going on, we decided to kind of step back for a minute and kind of recharge our batteries. But man, we've had pretty good free agency. We got the draft coming up, and what happened yesterday, Reg? The big drum roll of the new uniforms.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm sporting a little bit of jersey myself. I'm not a big jersey guy,
Right.
in terms of not only wearing jerseys, but just also just in terms of getting real juiced up about the uniforms that the team wears. But I'm one of those people that as long as it's good, I'm fine with it. But when it's bad, that's when you got something to say about it, right?
Right.
And so we know how the uniform was before, the Commanders uniform that they roll out on 2/2/22. And the only complaint I had about those is it wasn't enough of the burgundy and gold, which is what our fan base and team is known for.
Right.
And our white uniform that we wore the most looked like the Arizona Cardinals, and and the things. But the new uniform, man, they dropped that yesterday for us, and I think it was an overwhelming success. I think everybody loved it, including your boy, man. I mean, that, as you can see on the screen, that iconic white with the block letters, the stripes, everything, man. It's what we knew, and it's what we all loved about our uniform.
Right.
And it's good to see, man. So, shout out and kudos to Josh Harris and his front office for everything that they've done in terms of trying to get back to some normalcy and what a lot of our fans loved about this team.
Right.
So yeah, man, it was a home run. I loved it. I loved every part of it, man.
And and if you notice, if you're watching this on YouTube, the pants of the white and the burgundy jersey, they have the option of burgundy pants, white pants, or a lot of the fan favorite, the gold pants. And so that's a unique look that they've used from time to time. It's always a good look. It reminds me of 1970s Redskins. And then they updated the black as well. And
well, before we get on the black, go back to the white and the burgundy. Okay, so just looking at that, what would be your favorite combination in terms of what do you traditionally like?
Yeah, I think on the white jersey, I like it with the burgundy pants.
Okay, I would agree with that.
And then with the burgundy jersey, man, I love the gold pants. Yes. That'd be my first choice, and none of them look bad. None of these combinations have ever looked bad. I'm not always real big on the burgundy and burgundy. That'd be probably my bottom choice, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
But even on the burgundy, they've got the stripe going down the side is a little bit thicker and a little bit more bold to break up that just straight burgundy.
That uniform color. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I like that. But yes, my choice would be burgundy jersey, gold pants, and white jersey with the burgundy pants.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of the same boat. I will say that the bringing back the Joe Gibbs era, Super Bowl era, burgundy and gold, I think was a little bit anticlimactic just simply because we knew that that was coming. I
Mhm.
think the big thing that everyone was anxiously waiting to see was going to be two things. One was going to be the logo, and then what else?
Right.
And we didn't know what the what else was going to be. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if the black alternate was going to remain or the what else was going to be something totally new.
Right.
Well, it turns out the what else was the spear addition to the W on the alternate uniform and the upgrade that they did to the black uniform.
Right.
I personally, and I said this to you privately, I was never really a big fan of the black uniforms.
Right.
Just simply because the what they rolled out reminded us so much of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was number one.
100%.
And then number two, we always thought that there needed to be something included in our alternate black that was part of our burgundy and gold. Well, lo and behold, when they rolled out the alternate black uniform, which they have titled the Hellraiser uniform, is loaded with burgundy and gold to accent that black. And man, now we talk about a totally different look. Look, there's
Yeah.
nothing about this that people are going to say you guys look like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
Correct.
so I love the fact that they got the burgundy with burgundy numbers, trimmed in gold. They got the black and the yellow, gold, and burgundy stripes on the pants, which they added to that.
Yeah.
They added the stripes to the helmet. Um, Love it. Love everything about it. Now, the one thing that jumps out to me is the spear. Now, I'm not a spear guy. Um, I was concerned that the new logo may have been just a spear. I can get on board with the spear and the W combination together.
Right.
I just was not a spear only guy. I just have never liked that look. Even back in the day when they tried to bring that out, was just never a spear only guy.
Okay.
But I also realize I'm also probably in the minority when I don't have a problem with the W personally. I don't. We're Washington. We have to be something. To represent our organization. And so I like having something that represents the Washington Commanders. And so I love the fact that they have remained with the W. Now, what I suspect here, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I suspect that a lot of people feel like this was a soft rollout with the W and the spear, that within a year or maybe two, that the W and the spear, especially if it's a hit with the fans, will probably become the permanent logo.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. To piggyback with you, I mean, we talked about the white jersey and the burgundy jersey, and specifically on the black related to Pittsburgh. Um, again, I said right off the bat, why didn't they do a whole lot more burgundy? Because now that they have, I mean, the two primary colors on the jersey now are black and burgundy, and the gold with those dark colors becomes a trim, but it pops, right?
100%.
Before when you had the black jersey with the primary yellow and they had the burgundy trim, the burgundy just you didn't see it because it blended too from a distance, it blended too well with the
With
black,
the
and it just
black, yeah.
looked like it was black and yellow or black and gold. Now it's black and burgundy with the
Gold
pop
accent.
the pop of the yellow or the gold. So it's a good look. And I'm pretty much on board with you with the spear. I think this isn't too much where they did the W with the spear. It's kind of commander-esque. It is an improvement on the W, and it's a throwback to the Redskins. It's like a little bit, it's sprinkled in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And without going too extreme, they did just enough to make it look pretty darn sharp. pretty darn good.
Yeah, yeah, I like it, man. Overall, I think what Josh and his crew have done here, man, was a home run. This was huge. And now when you turn the TV on, if there's no volume, there's no sound, anyone can look at us wearing our traditional white and yellow uniform, gold uniforms. They're gonna go, oh man, they're playing the Redskins slash Commanders.
Right.
And I use Redskins and Commanders because some people are going to continue to call them Redskins or whatever. I don't care. But my point being is now when people look at it, they're going to know exactly what team is on the field. But one thing of note here that people have pointed out that on all three uniforms, the word Commanders is not there, and we all know the name's not coming back. And I don't think I don't believe it has anything to do with the fact that they don't like the name. You heard Josh, you've heard them say they're leaning into the commander, being a commander, and all things that is. So
Right.
I don't think this has anything. It was pointed out as well that during that Super Bowl era run, those the Joe Gibbs era, the Redskins, it didn't have Redskins on the uniform at that time either. So if they're trying to go back to that and kind of copycat that, then Redskins wasn't on the uniform then, so they didn't put Commanders on the uniform now. I tend to lean to that is more the situation and less about the fact that the ownership doesn't like the name Commanders
Right. Right.
because it's missing on all the uniforms.
Yeah, I would agree. And it wouldn't surprise me even if they stick with this three uniform set for a number of years, that Commanders does end up back on the uniform. But it looks good. And once again, Josh and his regime, they do it right.
Yeah.
Right. Once again, they do it right. They do the rollout right. They kept it a secret up until the last second. I think the night before, a couple little things leaked out, but they it was held tight. And then they did a good job when it was all said and done.
And one last point here to say that soon as I saw the uniforms, you immediately recognize it was burgundy and gold. When they did the old rollout to be Commanders back in February 2022, it was a wine looking color, and we knew it was representing burgundy, but it
Right.
wasn't that true burgundy. It was more of a maroon, that wine maroon looking
Yeah. Yeah.
color. But when they showed these on that social media post, you immediately say, "Man, that uniform is burgundy and gold." And shout out to the social media team, man, for putting that video together, boy. It was
Yeah.
good. It
Yeah.
was really good, man. And I don't know if you've seen the video that circulated on the website as well, with the players got to see the uniform, and they were all pretty hyped about it,
Yes.
excited, and gave it a rave review, man. So again, a round of applause, Ken, to Josh Harris and to the ownership, man.
Yeah. Uh, the only, even though we're sitting here and applauding, the only knock, and it's not a huge knock, the only knock that I will give this uniform is I like the satin or matte finish that we've had on our burgundy helmet the last
Yeah.
couple of years, and they went away. They went to the high gloss this year. The black is still a satin or matte finish, but the burgundy helmet is going to be a gloss finish, and I like the matte.
I did too. I was a little surprised that they went back to the glossy because matte finish is kind of the in thing right now. So I was a little surprised that they went with a glossy finish to the helmet as opposed to staying with the matte. Um, but that being said, they brought back the gold face mask on the burgundy helmet as well.
Yep.
And I guess for those that want that old school Redskins look, you
Yeah.
had to go with the glossy look and everything. But man, I can't wait to see the team as a collective unit. They're on the field, standing on the sideline, and you see 50 guys wearing that uniform together, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty exciting to watch.
It is going to look good. It is going to look good.
Well,
Um, so yeah, I think like most fans, like I said, you can nitpick like I did with the satin versus the gloss. But outside of that, it's hard for me to find anything to complain about it. Again, I'm getting nitpicky on that. but overall, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, it's all good though. It's all good. It's good stuff. Good stuff. It's a
Yeah,
good day.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
good day to be a Commanders fan.
yeah. And one of the things uh, we didn't talk about it in our pre discussion before the podcast started. But we did one of the items of news, or should say, is that the Commanders are going to be playing in bloody England this year. They're going to headed to London, and so it's been a while since Commanders have been overseas. No, I'm sorry.
No,
Last year they were in Madrid, but there was a gap between that.
Yeah.
So last year was it Madrid or Barcelona?
It was Wait a minute. Now I'm confused, man. You got me second guessing this. It was in Madrid. Madrid, Ken.
Yeah. That's where I started, but then I started second guessing myself to Barcelona. But yes, they'll be in England, playing in the stadium that Tottenham plays in London. For those that are Premier League soccer fans,
Who's Todd?
Tottenham.
Tottenham. You
Yes.
said Tottenham.
Yeah, Tottenham. Yes.
They play what Tottenham play at? What?
Yeah. Playing at Tottenham Stadium, which is part of the Premier League soccer or football. I'm sorry, when we're over there, it's football, American football versus football.
All right.
But yeah, that's kind of a change of the schedule. I wish when they gave what teams were going overseas, and their teams are going literally all over the world this year. I wish they would give the dates so fans could plan just that much easier, right? Because sometimes people can't take, they can't. They got to put in their vacation a lot earlier. If you got kids in school, you got to start planning for whether they're going, whether grandmom's going to come and stay with them. Financially,
we'll know in May. We'll know in May. I mean, we'll know in May, man. Come on. I mean,
I understand, but they announced it. They announced it in February.
I know, right? but they announced it in May, and then the games are going to start playing end of September into October. I mean, that's pretty good notice.
I'm just going to say the NFL knows exactly what the dates are.
100%.
100%.
But two things could be true. They know the dates, but 6 months in advance is pretty good notice.
For a lot of people, it is, but sometimes people, again, it's a planning thing, right?
Absolutely.
This isn't you and I going from the Dallas area up to DC or decide we want to go to a game in Chicago. I mean, all of a sudden I'm scrambling to get my passport. There's some
let me just say this, man. I'm pretty critical of the NFL when it comes to this scheduling thing.
Yeah.
But this is one I don't know how critical I can be of them. I mean, they're going to tell us in May. You get plenty of months in advance notice. You already knew they was going to play overseas, so kind of start saving the pennies and the dollars now.
Oh, yeah, but I'm cutting coupons right now.
But I will tell you, I got an inside source that told me that we're going to play in London October 4th.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure how true this info is. It's a source.
Yeah.
He knows who he is. But,
okay.
But in case I don't want to put him out there in case he's wrong, because he could be wrong.
Then put him out there.
No.
He can't just be giving us this information. You want to give initials?
No. Because
I'm just messing.
He might not tell me nothing else.
Hey, if all of his information is bad, so what?
Yeah, look, I ain't no Diana Rossini, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
Protect the sources.
I understand, man. That freedom of the press, right?
That's it. Yeah. So supposedly October 4th. So we'll know in May when the schedule comes out how true this is, and if it's true, then my guy's right. If it's not, I'll be like, man, don't. I'm not listening to you ever again.
Yeah, well, tomorrow I'm putting in for vacation for the week of October 4th. So
go right ahead.
Don't drag me around here now, all right? But yeah, so we got that coming down the road. But more recent is we're a week away from NFL draft, man.
We are.
Um, and it's an exciting time, man. You know, I think the free agency is also exciting. But to me, the draft is more exciting. You're getting these young players that you don't know, right? You have high hopes for every single one. You get the 7th round draft pick, you have high hopes for. You hope you got a steal, right? We got a steal with the 5th pick. We got a steal at number 2. You know, oh, he slipped. You know, he was projected to be a first rounder and he slipped to the 3rd round. Man, that's a steal. Those are all the things that somebody on the Commanders fans or some team is going to be making all those comments.
100%.
And normally you don't do that with free agency, right? Because you know exactly who you're getting. You hope maybe they're a little bit better, but you have a baseline of what they've done in the past, and
Gotcha.
that's your projection of what they're going to be. You know, once in a while you get a player that in free agency that plays a little bit better. Once in a while you get a player that, like, man, why did we even sign him? You know, I don't want to bring up any bad names.
I think that's us. That's us more than
we've
not.
had him, but I'm not going to bring up that's an old regime primarily. That's not under Josh. You know, that's going to get a home run with every single one. But
yeah, but we're the team that gets a guy and then he doesn't pan out. Rarely do we get the guy that
that was the Redskins, less than the Commanders. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, look, man. Hopefully things will continue to be different. Josh still has a few free agents on his resume that didn't turn out.
Sure.
You know, most recent, you know, oh boy, the cornerback from New Orleans.
Well, that was a trade, so that was even worse.
That's even worse. But
yeah,
but it happens, right? To your point, you're never going to hit 100% on free agents or even draft picks.
Right.
But for the record, I think I get more excited for free agency than I do the draft.
Right.
Unless you're picking top 10 in the draft. Now, if you're picking top 10 in the draft like we are, then I think for me the draft is a little more exciting. When you're picking 15 or probably 20th and below, you know, the draft kind of comes to you, so to speak, unless you trade up.
Yeah.
But when you're picking top 10, you know, you're expected to draft one of the blue chip players, franchise altering type talent, guys that can play for 10 years type deal. And even that we've missed on some of those guys, but the process in and of itself and the lead up to it is always exciting.
Yeah, we'll talk about drafting in a second. Real quick, some of the notable departures. You commented on Marshawn Lattimore, Tyler Biadasz, and Chris Rodriguez, and Jonathan Jones. Any of those that you were surprised about?
Well, clearly the Biadasz release was the biggest surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Tyler Biadasz was probably one of our steady offensive linemen on the old line, and he had done well the first year and last year. But I'm also one of those people, man, that due to injuries and the way the team performed, everybody looked bad. There was no one that looked good last year. So to say that Tyler Biadasz was released because he didn't play well, shit, nobody played good.
Right.
We're 5-12. We're picking 7th in this year's draft. Nobody played well. So the release of Tyler Biadasz was the shocker. The one that I thought was interesting was the fact that they did not re-sign Chris Rodriguez.
Right.
Chris Rodriguez was a bright spot. They you know, had him on the team. He didn't dress for a few weeks, but every time he came in, man, he looked like he should be out here starting. But they continued to push him back. So I had tweeted out that the team didn't value Chris Rodriguez. So I was happy to see that he landed on his feet in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville gave him a nice contract. And I would tell you, as much as I support and like Chris Rodriguez, I would say they may have overpaid him. However, I made the comment that Washington never valued the guy, and based on the way they treated him, they didn't. And so I was happy that he was able to parlay the time that he did get on the field and the production and parlayed that into a nice fat contract in Jacksonville, man. So I wish that guy all the best.
Yeah, I mean, from a running back perspective, where we know running backs aren't paid very much, he got a 2-year, $10 million contract, 12 million with incentives, and of the 10 million, 6.2 is guaranteed
Yeah,
for somebody that hasn't been a starter. Right, not for the Commanders. There's always been whether it's Austin Eckler or we're talking about everybody
Brian
talking about
Robinson,
Bill,
Brian Robinson.
B Rob also. So as a very solid backup role player who always produced when he came in, he did well. Like I said, especially as a backup in the running back market. I don't know what I'm curious of what Washington was even laying out there, 2 million a year or something like. I don't know, but I'd be curious. Again, that's just from an interest perspective. Um, but at that price, I'm also not surprised that Washington let him walk.
Yeah, I would have let him walk that 5. If he was asking for 5 million, I would have let him walk as well.
Right, right,
But my point is, regardless of what contract he got or whether Washington re-signed him or not, it was always clear to me that he wasn't valued very much here,
yeah,
based on actions.
right, right,
Because you can never say he wasn't productive. He was always brought in when someone got hurt
yeah,
or you need to relieve somebody. He would play well. They like to say who's performing, who's producing. That's who's gonna. It's competition. That's who's gonna get it. He would produce, and for some reason, he always had to take the back seat. Whether it was to Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson, uh, uh, Merritt, Jacoski Merritt, Bill. He was always having to take the back seat, and in some games and weeks, he was outperforming those guys.
right, right. Couple real quick notable, I'll say re-signings or extensions. Laramie Tunsil, Marcus Mariota. I think we're probably the two biggest. Like to see that Burks came back. He produced last year under bad circumstances, actually stayed healthy while he was with Washington. And once again, Tress Way's back. So,
Yeah.
uh,
All
again,
right.
overall pretty good. And they were able to get a good deal with Tunsil, considering they had given up a lot. I mean, we don't have a second round draft pick this year because of picking him up. So he got a 2-year, $60 million
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was a foregone conclusion that they was going to bring him back.
Yeah.
But with all that said, and everything that they've done in free agency, which position heading into the draft you think is the most critical?
Well, thankfully, because of some of their pickups that they have done, I don't know that there's a glaring spot. There's spots that could be done. You can never have enough defensive linemen. They tightened up going before free agency. I would have said their weak spots was defensive end, linebacker, tight end. Well, lo and behold, they went and got very solid players at all three positions. They didn't just get some fillers. They went out and got what I would call at least B players at those positions.
But you don't think that there's still a position of need going to this draft?
Look, when you have a bad defense, you can improve everywhere. From an offensive perspective, how much are you going to improve? Are you going to tell me you're going to give me a stud, a true potentially top 5 running back? Oh, I'll take him. Right now, if I had to do a glaring hole, I would say, as it sits right now at the time of this recording, wide receiver.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. I would say wide receiver and probably cornerback, man. You got Mike Samuel that they keep moving around from inside to outside. You got Amos, and then after that, who else you got? Yeah, they signed a Meek Robinson, but they signed him on a 1-year deal. But I mean, injuries are part of the game. One of them guys get hurt, and then who you got? Right? You got guys who are on the team that are your depth guys, but we got it. We got to raise the floor, man, and get out of always having the depth guys. Who are the game changers? Who are the guys that has deep offensive coordinators having to scheme against, have to be worried about, right?
Well,
And I can
I mean,
say that even on the offensive side. Terry gets hurt, then what are you gonna do?
oh, I definitely agree at the wide receiver, but Robertson is a solid cornerback. I mean, and they
I'm
signed
tired.
him to a 2 year.
I'm tired of solid people, man. I want some good
They signed
players.
they signed him a 2 year deal, 2 year deal for him.
I don't know
Um,
the details, but I guarantee you they can get out of that guy's contract after next season. Just throw it out there.
uh,
But again, I'm tired of the good guys. Let's get some. I'm tired of the all right guys. These guys are serviceable. Let's get some good players in here, man.
yeah. And I don't have a problem upgrading and improving on that. When I look, I would say most people when we're looking at our draft because especially because we don't have a second round pick, everybody we're only focused on one pick as a fan right now, right? There's other holes to fill in the third round, the fourth round. Uh, if we have a fourth round pick, I know our next pick is a third round pick. But we're worried about that first round pick. You know, we don't need a we don't need a player that's a single, a double, a trip. We need a not even a home run. We need a grand slam player right
Yes,
now, right?
yes,
Give us the give I don't give us the linebacker who just shows up everywhere on the field, in the backfield, running down running backs, sideline to sideline, a cornerback that just sticks like glue, a defensive end who just giving the quarterback hell. I that's just on defense. Move over to the offense and you're like, where did this guy come from? This is the running back that we've been wanting forever. This is what Terry needed a compliment wide receiver
yeah.
on the other side against him.
Daniel Jeremiah, in his mock draft has us trading back with the Jets. The Jets going to move up to number 7, and we are going to move back to pick 16.
And
How
what are
you
we picking up? What are we picking up for that?
I didn't see what he said. It was just more of picking up 16th, and I think we get a second round pick and something else.
No, I'll pass on that.
So you pick 16th, and you get a second. So you recoup a second. So now you got your first, second, and third pick.
I'll tell you right now, I'll be at the bar and there'll be some chips flying. Yeah,
So
if we drop, if we get a good deal and we drop to 9 or 10, and you tell me that we're getting another number 1 next year or something like that, I won't. But if you tell me 16 and I'm picking up a number 2, man, chips are flying across the bar, man. I'm getting kicked out of there before we actually get to pick at number 16.
So you're moving back 9 spots and you pick up a draft second round pick.
Man,
Now keep in
come on,
mind,
man.
keep
Sauce is
hold
going to
on.
be flying too.
Keep in mind it'll be a high second round pick.
No,
You're still out, huh?
no, I'm out. Well, I will say, let me tap the brakes on that. Let me first say I'm probably out, and number 2, let me know how the draft falls. Tell me who's there.
But at this point, we don't know. We have
I
no
know,
idea.
and that's why you don't. That's why they're not making the deal right now, right?
I
Because
understand.
you don't know. The
I
guy that you have number
understand.
1 on your board might not be everybody else's, and all of a sudden he's sitting there at 7, and you're not making that deal.
But let's just assume the draft is falling and some players are falling. You trade back to 16th, and there's still some players who are quality players on the board, and you gain a second round pick. You're still out.
Man,
Because let me give an example. Let me just give you an example, and then we can move on from this point.
yes.
Let's just say you trade with the Jets and you move back to 16th.
Let me stop. This is the kind of ridiculous stuff that I bring up, not you, but keep going.
I don't think this is ridiculous because listen, let me be clear. I don't think this is ridiculous, but however, I like to stay put. I'm not a big trade back guy,
Right.
just in general. But if you told me that we're going to trade back and pick up a second round pick, and the first round pick is now one of the top 3 wide receivers, just for the sake of this conversation,
Right.
right? And now you can get one of those guys at 16, and then you got a high second round pick. And if all of a sudden Adam Peter hits on the first, second, and third rounder, or the first two of those three picks, I'll take that because it's a position of need. You pick up a quality guy at 16 and you get your second round pick. I might be okay. Because again, just because, and I'll use Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate may not be high on their list. They might let the kid. I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy that's injured all the time from Arizona State.
Yeah.
They may not be scared away from his injury history, and he's exactly what we need. But you get him at 16. They weren't going to get Carnell Tate anyway at 7. Jeremiah Love is gone. Carnell Tate is still there, and you still got some defensive guys that you can pick, the stud defensive guys that are in there. But instead, because of what you did in free agency, you go and you get the guy that can be a receiver opposite of Terry and perhaps be your number 1, and you got him at 16, and then you still pick up a number 2 pick. In that scenario, it's not sexy.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not crazy either.
Right.
Now, I don't think that's ridiculous. But again, I'm not a big trade back guy. But if they did that, I don't know that I'm throwing chips and sauce on the table is my point.
Well, 16 is a far drop, right? To me, because even so, I mean, there's a
potential. Again, it depends on the other players that are still available, Ken. That's correct. The key. That's the key here now.
But let's just say, and I'm going to use your scenario that if I'm judging the 3 receivers and I decide there's not a huge difference, I have a preference of 1, 2, and 3, but the difference between 1 and 3 is very slight, right? Okay. And so my goal is to get one of them,
right,
and pick up a draft pick. I feel there's value in that. I see you doing that, but man, you're rolling the dice that one of them will be there right now. If you had me dropping from 7 to 12, I can pretty much guarantee one of them is going to be there. Dropping to 16, one of them might be gone before 7.
Well, you're not making this trade, Ken, if the potential of your guy's not being there. If you by the time you get to 7, for the sake of this conversation, and 2 of the 3 wide receivers are gone, then the third guy may not be there at 16. So you're probably not going to trade back that far. We're talking about you trading back because there's the potential for you to get, because based on the teams they're going to pick 8 through 15, right, they're not looking for receivers. They're looking for defensive guys. They're looking for offensive linemen. They're saying that this draft is loaded where there's going to probably be 7 offensive linemen taken. So between 7 and 15, there's teams who don't need receivers. They need other positions. So the chance of one of the 2 other receivers being at 16 is there, then that's when you pull the trigger. You're not going to make this deal if the potential of you're not getting either one of those receivers. Right. I mean, that goes without saying. But again, listen, we can go on and on with the scenario. My point being is anything can happen. I'm excited. I'm excited about the build up to this draft. And at the end of the day, Daniel Jeremiah had us being the first team to make a trade, going back with the Jets and recouping a pick in the process. And I thought that'd be interesting. Again, not a fan of the trade back personally, but again, if you still have faith in Adam Peters, and all we've talked about in the offseason is how we don't have additional picks, and he's able to recoup a second round pick and still get a guy that's going to be a difference maker on our team, I can't be mad at that.
I've also seen a scenario where we move up to number 3 to make sure that we get the running back Love out of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Obviously, you're going to have to give up something next year to get it, because I don't think just giving up your 3rd round, this pick, is going to.
It's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough. So you would have to give up a first or a 2nd round next year to get up there, or a package. You know, they get a first and we get their 2nd next year, yeah, whatever the scenario is. So there's a lot of opportunities here. I think sitting at 7, you know, we all have our 1 or 2 players that we would just love to be there at 7. But I think there's one of 2 or 3 players that I really like that I think will be there at 7.
Okay. So before we wrap it up, then let's give our, not necessarily, you can give a prediction if you like, or just who's your top 2 favorite players that you want to see us draft in next week's draft.
Um, and I'm going with who I think might be there. And things have even changed in the last 10 days. I used to see Washington from some predicting drafts that Love was there consistently. Now the big thing is Tennessee in love with Love. And I won't be surprised if somebody at 10, 11, 12 jump up somewhere to get him. But Love is definitely one that I would love to get at number 7. And Sonny Styles, man. The kid can play, and I think he has a better chance realistically of potentially falling to Washington. Here I say
between him and Love, you mean?
Yes, I think between him and Love. But I think he is a baller. And you add him to what we've done in free agency and getting healthy on some players next year. I think he's a player who other teams are going to need to know where he is.
Okay. Well, I will say this. I'll give my take on it, man. I'll try to be short here. Listen, I'm with you. I understand ironically, the 2 guys that are talked about the most both play positions where people say you don't draft that early, which is running back and linebacker. I don't watch a ton of college ball, so my analysis here is just based on some highlights and a lot of things I've read and heard. If Jeremiah Love is truly that difference maker, that Bijan Robinson, that Saquon Barkley in his early years type of player, then how can you go wrong with that? And then the thing with Sonny Styles, to me, again, the hype around him, I didn't see him play at Ohio State because, again, I didn't watch a lot of Ohio State football. But based on what I'm reading here, is he's kind of that linebacker that wears your green dot, and yet they're hoping that he has the ability to become a rusher and a blitzer. And I'm like, he didn't do a lot of that in college, so we're going to hope that he can be that guy. Because if he can be that type of a player, a la Micah Parsons, then it's a no-brainer. But if he's just another Pro Bowl linebacker that you're drafting that high, then I don't know that I'm excited about the potential of him being on our team.
You said a Pro Bowl line. You don't want to. I mean, a Pro Bowl linebacker, and
because again, Ken, I need guys that are going to affect the game, right? A Pro Bowl linebacker can be a guy that's good in coverage and he can lead your team in tackling. But is he making a difference on the defense? And to me, the defense guy is a guy who you got to shut down corner. You got a guy who's a killer safety like Kyle Hamilton, or you got an edge rusher, and I'm going to use Michael Parsons. To me, those are guys that are your all-pro guys that are changing the game. Having a good linebacker, hell, Bobby Wagner played good last year, but he's not affecting the defense in that way.
Well, that's because he lost a step. You take Bobby Wagner in Seattle.
I'm not comparing. Yeah, but Bobby Wagner in Seattle played with the Legion of Boom. So I don't want
to. But his style wasn't attacking the quarterback. His style was closer to playing a traditional old school linebacker where you play from the line of scrimmage all the way from end to end. You're stopping the block. You're picking up.
Can't listen. I'm not here to bash Bobby Wagner's career.
No, because I know, but you wouldn't take a Seattle Bobby Wagner.
But listen, because my personal opinion, because you know when I think of the Legion of Boom, you know who I thought about the most? I thought about Richard Sherman. I thought about Earl Thomas. I didn't think about Bobby Wagner. He was part of it, and he was good in it. But when I think about the Legion of Boom, I think of Cam Chancellor. I think of Richard Sherman. I think of Earl Thomas. And Bobby Wagner was part of that, and he cooped a lot of the praise because he was part of that. He wore the green dot, but that ain't who people were talking about. But but
Okay.
again, my point being is that's not to say that he wasn't necessary nor needed on their defense. And Sonny Styles is the kind of player that will be good and needed on their defense. But would you take Bobby Wagner on your team, Seattle Bobby Wagner,
Mhm.
or today Kyle Hamilton, or the kid in New England, the Gonzalez kid?
Um, probably Seattle Bobby Wagner. And
Oh,
I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking them.
okay.
Um, again, I have high value, and we've talked about this all the way back, London Fletcher days and when London Fletcher stopped, I have high value, and I see high value in a above average. I don't want middle of the pack. I want a very good middle linebacker because they make differences and they make changes in a game.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
And I'm not knocking Sonny Styles because based on everything that you're saying, he's going to be a really good player. But if Sonny Styles can be even 75% of what Michael Parsons was able to do, then I'm for it. But if he's just going to be another good linebacker, I'm okay with that. Because the league is littered with a lot of athletic guys.
But see, to me, Ryan Kerrigan and Parsons, they're not linebackers. They got a linebacker title, but they're defensive end, right?
Well, Ryan Kerrigan is true defensive end. Michael Parsons
He
played
he went to the
defensive
Pro
end
Bowl as a linebacker.
because we played in 3-4. I mean, come on, man.
I understand that.
But he's no linebacker, Ken.
And
Come
neither
on.
is Parsons. Parsons once in a while goes back, but he's primarily at the line causing havoc.
But Parkers is a linebacker who plays edge. He converted and moved to the edge. There's a big difference between what position you play versus who you truly are. Michael Parsons played edge as a linebacker.
Okay.
Ryan Kerrigan is a edge who played linebacker. It's different.
And to me, Styles is a linebacker. He's not a defensive end. He's not an edge. He's a linebacker.
He's a linebacker, but can he? But if we were to go into a 3-4 system, does he now look like Frankie Louvu? Because he can't get around tackles. He just get blocked. He's run out of plays, and now all we do is we have a guy picked in the first round, and he's taken out of games because he doesn't have the skills to rush the passer, a la Michael Parsons. Because Frankie Louvu is a fast, athletic linebacker. I'm not saying Frankie Louvu and Sonny Styles are the same, but my point being is if he's a linebacker and he doesn't have the ability to rush from the edge the way Frankie Louvu has been put out of games, then he's just a linebacker. But if he's a linebacker that has the ability to rush from the edge, like Michael Parsons and some guys who have played in 3-4 systems, then I'm all for it. That's what I'm saying.
But we're not playing a 3-4.
But if you're gonna deploy him as that edge, because they're saying, "Oh well, man, he can blitz," but he didn't do a lot of it at Ohio State.
But you don't have to blitz from the edge. Look, where did Bobby Wagner blitz from? He blitzed from the linebacker position, and I got no problem with that.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine that you
So
like
who's your number two? If I mean, it sounded like you were on board with Love, being your number one go-to guy and commenting on Styles. Who's your number two?
What my number two was I said I'm down for the Sonny Styles pick.
Okay,
if he can truly be a guy that can do both. If he is just going to be as your green dot guy and he doesn't have the skill sets to rush from the edge, then I'm not down for that guy. So I'd rather take Caleb Downs at that point.
Okay. And from that perspective, I'm just for clarifying. So you want him to be able to line up at the line, basically on a defensive, or are you fine with him having success blitzing, but blitzing from a linebacker position and picking the hole and going?
I'll tell you what I want. The way they're basically jizzing on this kid, then he got to be more than just a linebacker to me. He's got to be able to do. He's got to be that secret weapon that you're deploying. And when offenses are looking at Washington defense, they're saying we need to find where Sonny Styles is at all times. So whether we put him on the edge and he rush, whether he's in the middle and he's blitzing or doing what he needs to do, we need to find whatever his number is going to be, Sonny Styles. But if he's just lining up and he's our middle linebacker, green dot, and he's running our defense, and yeah, he's able to tackle in the hole and do things that linebackers are expected to do, and that's all he's doing.
And cover all the tight ends and running backs out of the backfield that Bobby Wagner had. I'm not trying to compare him, but the biggest knock on Bobby Wagner, last year,
Leo Chenal,
he couldn't cover me.
Yeah, but Leo Chenal can do that. Jordan McGee can still do that. So to me, again, if you got guys like those who can cover backs and tight ends out of the backfield who can do those same things, then he's just another linebacker, a good one, but he's just another linebacker. I'm talking about a guy that, man, when they deploy this guy, you don't know where the hell Sonny Styles is going to be and what he's going to do, because that guy's coming to wreck your offense. Because that's the way they're talking about it. And if that's the guy we get, pick him. But if he's just out here being another Leo Chenal and Jordan McGee and Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner and all those kinds of guys, and he's just a really fast, athletic linebacker who's really good, then that's not really wrecking the defense for me. Wrecking the offense for me.
Yeah, whether we get we go with Downs or Styles or Bailey, whoever. I always say, especially when you're a number 7 pick, early. Last time we had a top 7 pick was Jaden Daniels, a difference maker, right?
He was. He is.
We need a difference maker. I don't care if he's a running back, linebacker, cornerback. Take the kid from LSU. If you think that the kid is a difference maker, take him.
Take him. I forgot about him. I forgot.
Whoever you're taking. Yeah. Whoever you're taking, you got to hit at this high, because you suffered enough last year. You suffered to get this impact player. You can't miss. You just can't.
Agreed. And we'll end on that note, because I 100% agree. Whoever they pick, he's got to hit. Even if they trade back to 16, Ken. But look, he's got to hit.
Come on, love. Slide to 7. Slide to 7.
But yeah, he's got to hit, man. So, but anyway, well, man, just to wrap this thing up, man, I think we're all excited. We'll be back, obviously, to give our thoughts here with about the draft and be welcoming the newest commander. Man, he's coming in a good time, man. We got some new digs, man, and the boys gonna be able to look good on the field. So, hey, it's gonna be a good time to be a commander, man.
Yeah, get healthy. The players that were hurt last year that are coming back and healthy are free agency. I think we did a solid job at free agency, and if we can equal that with the here in the draft, I think we're gonna be looking good.
We're gonna look good, man. They're gonna bounce back. They're gonna get healthy. They're gonna bounce back. The schedule will be easier. This team, I know the old saying is you are who your records say you are, but man, this team was decimated by injuries. If this team had not had the injuries, there's no way. We're not gonna go back to the NFC Championship game, but we're not 5-12 if that team hadn't had those injuries. So the fact that a lot of these guys are gonna come back and be healthy, and they've added to this team and everything that they're doing, we're going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, we will see, and we'll be talking about it along the way. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening in, and we hope to be talking to you a lot more frequently moving forward here. So until next time, peace out, knuckleheads.
Peace out.